This is Seth David from the world famous Nerd Enterprises Incorporated, bringing to you another special screencast based on a YouTube question. If you have a YouTube question, go ahead and post it as a comment on one of my videos, and I might just get you a video reply. This time we're talking about QuickBooks accounts with sub-accounts. Oh, the places you'll go. Knowledge is power. Make an impact by learning more. Call me right now at 866-945-8070 for information about private trainings. We always record the live session with you so you can review it as often as you like afterwards. QuickBooks accounts with sub-accounts. Oh, the places you'll go. Let's take a look at how this works. This actually seems to give a lot of people a lot of trouble, and they don't even realize that it's giving them a lot of trouble. And I'll tell you when you can see that there's a clue that this particular issue is giving a lot of trouble, and you can know that it's giving you trouble because you can see a certain thing happening that makes you realize that it's giving you trouble, and so it goes around and around. Anyway, let's have a look, shall we? So, Brandon writes in, and this is sort of mid-conversation. I'm bringing you into the middle of the conversation. You know how they say this is an A-B conversation, see your way out of it? Well, this is the opposite. I'm bringing you into it. Anyway, so in mid-conversation, Brandon and I were emailing. He had asked me some questions about account structure in QuickBooks, and at this point in the conversation, he writes, I just mean if you double-click on the gross wages account in the P&L, and we're talking about payroll accounts where you have payroll expenses, and within that, gross wages and employer taxes and other things that might go in there. He says, will the transaction detail report show the transaction details for all the sub-accounts, or do you have to double-click each sub-account individually to find out the transaction details for that sub-account? Basically, I'd like to be able to see all the employees' payroll information in the same report so I can compare that with what I'm paying each employee no matter what kind of payment it is, salary, commissions, bonuses, etc. So let's take a look and see what this looks like in QuickBooks. Okay, first of all, sub-accounts. Let's see what that is. Here's an example. Insurance expense. And then I have 4 different kinds of insurance. But let's work with Brandon here, and let's put it in exactly the context that he's asking. So here's a generic company, right? Accounting services company. Payroll expenses. First of all, how do I create a sub-account? Not everybody knows. So, Control-N is in new. While I'm looking at the chart of accounts or any list, we'll bring up a new item for that list. And when I do that, it says, what kind of an account would you like to create? Isn't that wonderful? You get all these choices. You can do so many wonderful things. So it's an expense account because I'm going to be making a sub-account of payroll expenses, right? So sub-accounts have to be the same type as their parent. You can't have 2 family members with a different last name if they're in the same nuclear family. Or if Bush were still president, I'd be calling it nuclear family. Anyway, I digress. Continue, and let's just say within payroll expenses we have wages, right? Salaries and wages. Okay, check off sub-account payroll expenses. Okay, save and new. Let's create a few here. So then we'll have employer taxes, sub-account payroll expenses. Now watch this trick. I'm going to say save and close. Let's say I'm in the middle of writing a check, right? And I'm paying an employee their commissions. And I say, oh my God, I never created a commissions account. Check this out. Here's another trick for how to create a sub-account. Type a colon, commissions. As soon as I hit the tab key, letting QuickBooks know I've completed the data entry for this particular field, QuickBooks says, hey, commissions is not in the account list. You want to set it up? Sure. Again, it defaults to expense. It has to be because its parent is an expense. Save and close. Let's widen that up so you can see really what that looks like. Payroll expenses, colon, commissions. Save and close. Now let's record at least one transaction in each of these accounts. And I'm not going to go to the trouble of like a whole detailed payroll. I just want to illustrate the sub-account structure and what that looks like when you're running the reports. So let's just say Joe Schmo got paid commissions. I don't like to call them an employee unless I'm actually using QuickBooks for payroll. So if I'm using an outside payroll service, excuse me, then I like to call them a vendor. That's just my thing. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. $1,000 commissions to Joe Schmo. Save and new. John Schmo, it's a family business. Gets paid $500 in gross payroll. Salaries and wages. Save and new. Ralph Schmo, I said it was a family business, gets paid $800. Salaries and wages. And actually, let's say that Ralph Schmo is actually the officer of the S Corp. So we need to break that out separately, right? I know you all know that. Saving crows. All right, what else? He says salaries, commissions, bonuses, etc. All right, I think we covered it pretty well. So here's what happens. Let's run a P&L. All right, and here it is. I've got my parent account payroll expenses. Within that, I've got my commissions, my salaries, and wages. So one of Brandon's questions was, when I click on one of these, or how does it work in terms of when I double-click these numbers and drill in, what am I going to see? The answer, very simply put, is if I just click on commissions, then all I'm going to see is what's in commissions. If, on the other hand, I want to see everything, where I really want to go is I want to come over here and see total payroll expenses. So if I double-click total payroll expenses, what it does is it gives me a breakout by account. As you can see, everything's separated and subtotaled nicely, so you can see what's in everything payroll. Now, back to what I originally brought up about when you might have a clue about where this kind of a structure could be creating a problem. Here's how you know. Here's how you know something's wrong. Something's awry in the world of QuickBooks. So let's say that I paid Joe Schmo some more salaries, or he got the commission, so now we have to do salaries. So let's say he gets $1,500 in salaries, and I just put it to payroll expenses. Let's say I forget about the sub account. Watch what happens. Ew. You see how it says payroll expenses other? Isn't that gross? It's just ugly, right? So the moral of the story is, as soon as you start creating sub accounts within a parent account, you always want to make sure that everything gets posted to a sub. If you post something directly to a parent account while it has sub accounts, it creates this other on the reports. And it's just ugly. Now, it's easy to fix, right? So you just double click it, and it gives you the drill down first and takes you into a report that shows you everything that's in there. Double click it again. Come over here and change it to salaries and wages. Save and close. And tell QuickBooks it's okay to refresh the report. This one's blank now because this was the drill in to the other that's still sitting up on screen, so I can close that. And now we're back to the profit and loss, and sure enough, that other is gone. My profit and loss is once again the beautiful canvas that I want it to be, and we can all go home now. So as always, post your questions and comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you have any feedback, suggestions, problems. See your therapist. No, I'm just kidding. But post your comments. Let me know. I'd love to know, even if you just enjoyed the video. Tell me that, because it helps me when you comment on my videos. So please, go ahead. Take a minute. Take 2 minutes. I'll give you 4 minutes for every 2 minutes or something. Anyway, as always, I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you on the web.